wonder if we'll have any folks on.
Hello, hello. Good. Just at their meeting today, had one of the owls and I was
Oh, those are so
so,
weird.
like, I didn't know
What do
which
you mean
way the
owls?
it's called an owl and it sits in the middle of the table
But the head
and,
swivels.
and the head swivels, so it focuses on who's ever
Oh, I
talking.
hate that.
And if you're looking at it,
sounds
it's looking at
horrible.
you full face, but then the people up there, like, I wanted to keep looking at them, but I didn't, I felt like I was gonna go cross-eyed or
That
eyes to the wall because I was like,
horrible.
which one do I look at? And
Mm-mm.
I couldn't decide if I loved it or I hated it. It was, yeah,
Yeah, I don't like those. We use those at work and I don't like them.
yeah. Couldn't decide. And I'd probably have to make a little clothing for it or something.
That's fair.
Yeah. You are talking to a children's librarian. There is a reason I
No.
do what I do.
First.
You are the second person. Come on in.
Okay. I will officially call the November 13th, 2024 meeting of the Yarmouth Community and Economic Development Committee to order at 5 o'clock. Reading from the agenda, this is formally to advise that as required by Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, subsections 18 through 25, pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, signed into law June 16th, 2021, as extended by the Acts of 2023, the Yarmouth Community and Economic Development Committee will hold a public meeting on Wednesday, November 13th at 5 p.m., and the public is welcome to attend via in-person at Town Hall or the alternative public access provided on the meeting notice on the town website. So welcome, everybody. I think we can just do a quick round of introductions just for our guests. I'm Courtney Butler. I'm the chair.
Joe Manning.
Steve O'Neill.
Joe Gibbs.
Peter Slovak.
Danielle Newcomb. All right, thank you. So our first agenda item is special event interviews, and we are starting with the 2025 summer reading program of the Yarmouth Town Libraries. So Mindy, take it away.
Hi. So this is my first time coming to this. So are you looking for a little summary right now?
Yeah,
okay.
First thing is relax. Not as bad as everyone thinks.
I haven't heard those rumors. So I have been with the Yarmouth Town Libraries now for 5 years. I've been in charge of the Youth Services Department for 3 years. Becoming involved with Youth Services, I took over the summer reading program that has been there. This is my 3rd year doing it. Last year, we were the only library on Cape Cod, and 1 out of 5 libraries chosen by the Massachusetts library system to be part of the building equity-based summers through libraries and communities. So we took age limits off of our summer reading program. We made it all inclusive and made it accessible to all. If you're not familiar, I did bring a little handout if anybody wants to look at. This is our paper version. We also do have an online version. They mirror each other so that anybody can use them. There's also a copy that's in regular font too, so it's available for people that have vision problems. And one thing I want to highlight in here is the 41 community volunteers that are now participating, supporting our program. That is where all our donations come from that we give away as prizes. Awesome. So as we have gotten bigger, our participation has grown. In general, our participation has grown about 50% in attendance over the last 3 years for our programming as is. In the summer, for last summer, we were up in participation 50% there and up 30% in people participating in it. And that the biggest growth was in our adults by taking the ages off of that and making it more inclusive. Our adult number significantly increased. So as this program grows, we are one little library with a small staff. The inclusion of Phoebe, our new adult services librarian, opened up a wonderful opportunity to have adult programming in the summer, which had great attendance and greatly contributed to this. But people want more now. We've done so much, and this year is level up at your libraries. So it's a lot of tabletop gaming, and as big nerds, we're very excited about it, especially myself and Rebecca, the youth services assistant. So living our best dream, we want to try to kick off the event with a mini Renaissance fair. We've seen what Chris was able to do at the Pirate Festival, the demand at the Mermaid Festival that we help out at, and at the Seaside Festival. We attend all of that, and we want to play too. So we want to start to kick off summer with a little mini Renaissance fair, which would come with a significant price tag because we have vendors that can support it, that can come in and sell wares. And we want to have more than one performer. Usually our summer reading kickoff only has one performer, and this year we would like to have 3 or 4 and make it a whole day event, do it 4th of July weekend. So we're getting all the tourists. As more people come in, this is their first stop for summer reading. They come in, they say, we just got here. Where do we sign up for summer reading? It's become a tradition and part of their summer plan. So to keep up with all that, we want to have a big kickoff event that welcomes the community, our business partners to come to participate. other libraries to join in. We've recently started partnering with Centerville Library in Hyannis. So we've become a hotspot on the visitation list. So we would like to continue that and make summer reading even bigger and better.
That's awesome. I love that it's increased so much over the years. That's a really exciting program.
Yeah, we ran 70. We had 78 activities last year from the summer, and that was just in the youth services department.
That's amazing. Great. And the request is for $9,175.
Yes.
Perfect. Do we have any, I'll let the board ask any questions they have of the library. Any questions? Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. How did you hear about our program?
I've seen it through the emails for several years and I didn't think we qualified. So I asked Jane this year, I was like, Jane, do we qualify? Because we're doing something really great. And
Good for you. Good.
And that's how, and that we reached out and I was told, yes, we do qualify. So
Now, the thing I wrestled with your application, help me through this, is it looked like a lot of extension from the public schools, after school type of activity. But what I really was wrestling with is this is tourism money. So do you get a lot of tourism folks coming to you, and how did they find out about it?
They find out about it because I promote everywhere. So the school sports, because I reach out to the schools, but I also attend 3 ball games every year. So I go out there and I hustle. And in addition, we had the Mermaid Festival this year. We have reached out to local businesses, so we're in there. We're there. There's a reason I have 41 sponsors, and I know them all by name and face. So we make sure that it's accessible and that they're giving out the information. And I know Rebecca follows social media. She goes to the Cape Cod Things to Do page and goes through all those channels too to make sure our name is out there. And one of the things I want to use if we get the grant marketing money for is to get our names in once a little more local, but get our names on like the placemats they have on the Pancake Man, so that if I'm a tourist out to visit, I see the little summer reading at the library, check out these great events, or in the back of a dance flyer. They're always looking for people to support them. And that's my thought, is a way to give back to the businesses that are working so hard to support us. If we can put it in the graduation flyer or in a placemat on at a restaurant, it benefits us both.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Mindy is the queen of the QR code.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the QR code.
Oh, for
Amazing.
Yeah, that was last year's.
So many people have the phones and the QR codes, and it's the easier way to do it. So
It is. And we also try to reach out. One of the other ways I reach out to the tourists is, while summer reading, if you're not here for all of it, can be a little daunting. That's why we have it available on the phone so that they can track it when they go home to Grafton. And then when they come back that following weekend, it's still all there on their phone.
Good.
We also do a guessing game each summer. It started during COVID where they couldn't come into the library. I started putting up animal butts because it was tails and tails. And so people had to guess the animal from the bottom and the geographic region. And it was such a big program. We've done it every year since. Our first winner was somebody that was here on vacation for a week. That was not even part of the summer reading program. They had wandered past, scanned it, and they walked away with a $400 Yeti cooler filled with stuff that comes from Snow and Jones. So, so this is something that is, while it's part of summer reading, it's available to everybody. Over at West Yarmouth, everybody's walking to that thrift store and it's out. You can scan it and just keep going. So, yeah.
thank you.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
Are there other questions from the committee?
Oh, this looks good. Learned something new. Didn't even know this was going on.
I know.
And
I'm like,
all of you are eligible to play and win.
I know. I'm so excited. I can 20 minutes a day. This is easy.
I would like to reserve a dog man, 2 kitties.
I wonder if you could enlighten us just for like 2 or 3 minutes
Dog man.
about the masquerade ball that you put together.
Oh,
I just showed Bill Scott the video.
So, in addition to doing this, we did a masquerade ball at West Yarmouth Library in conjunction with Hyannis Library. Centerville Library, Family Table Collaborative, PFLAG, We Thrive, Cape Cod Pride, and we had a lovely young adult ball for 50 kids, and it was
Awesome.
magical. We also do Cape Co- basically a comic book convention with Hyannis. We'll be taking it over next year. We're on the docket to host it in 2026. They're doing 2025, but that is also a big neighborhood thing, where it's a comic book convention. We've named it CodCon.
I love it.
And Matt from Cape Cod Toy Chest went there. A lot of vendors that we would be using for the Renaissance Festival all participated there, and they were local artists. July Art Gallery, we work with them on that. So
Amazing.
yeah.
We don't have a programming budget line per se in our library system, but Mindy can find money from so many different sources. It's very impressive that our associations are like our friends group who do most of the funding. But she had folks like Rotary put in a contribution toward a tent at the masquerade ball that was out on the lawn, and it was a beautiful night. And it's just, yeah, she does a lot with a little bit. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, she has a background in theater, so.
Awesome. We're so lucky to have.
And we also work
Yeah.
with recreation. So we go during the
Right.
summer to recreation once a week and take part of their summer camp.
This is
So,
and
yeah.
congrats on being one of 5 libraries
Thank
selected.
you.
Like, that is really a big achievement and a big high mark for the town.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
So what do you do in your spare time?
I was in graduate school. I graduated. Now I don't. And now I don't know what I'm doing with my spare time. Yeah. Now I'm writing a lot of grants.
Fantastic.
Great,
I
thank
think
you.
that's all from us. Thank you so much
Okay.
for joining.
Great job.
Thank you. You want me to leave any of this here for you or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
So we're gonna do our review. So we're gonna meet with all of our interviews tonight, and then we're gonna review and deliberate afterwards, and then we'll.
okay. And do you want any of this information or?
No, I think.
Okay, you have,
I
okay.
like that flyer.
Karen wants
That's
one.
one. Okay.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love
Yeah,
that you got all those,
I know,
so
that's
all
really
these,
so nice.
sponsors are on
Yes.
top of
Pizza there behind.
the work from Friends.
Can smell it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you do
they-
all this outreach.
Oh,
That's fantastic.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's so
That's
great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
We only need the space in the building to actually perform these functions. but-
Yeah. Which is why Mattakey's is on the docket there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Good job.
Yay.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Good night.
Okay, next up, we have the Cape Cod Community Orchestra.
She's a hard act to follow.
I know. I believe in you, Susan.
So I'm Susan Sapoznik. I'm the president this year of the Cape Community Orchestra. We are a very small functioning orchestra, free concerts. We've been in existence since 1990 under the direction of John Hagan, who retired right before COVID. And when Nancy Torrenti came in, we've gone from a group of 35 amateur musicians. A few of us are professional, mostly amateur, most of us who played in high school and picked up our instruments as adults. And we've grown to 53 members as of today. And we used to perform on a Friday night at church, at various churches, and Sunday at the senior center. We have grown out of that. And last year we started our Friday night, we switched to Saturday afternoons at Monomoy Regional High School. And this will be our last concert at Yarmouth Senior Center because we just don't fit. It is full house. They are a wonderful venue. They are inexpensive. We have a very small operating budget, but we're overflowing. So come, actually in May, we'll be at the new school, the DY Intermediate School,
Okay, good.
which is stretching our budget. So I have written a lot of grants. This is our brochure and listed of the grants as of this year, except for Belzekian did not want to have their logo on there, but we did get a grant from Belzekian Foundation. I know. We get our money through advertising and free will donations and the grants. We have a wonderful webmaster. This is for our concert in 2 weeks. Sounds familiar. Music that is you've heard, but where have you heard it? Like the Lone Ranger theme is William Tell Overture. And right now we're also playing Habanera. We have a guest conductor coming in, or a guest singer coming in, a mezzo soprano. That's on an Xfinity commercial right now. So that type of stuff. So right now, when we perform at Yarmouth Senior Center, we're overflowing, standing room only. When we move to Dimes, we will look like an empty audience. So we are looking now to advertise, to bring in the community, the tourists. Our average, we get maybe 150 to 200 at a concert at Yarmouth Senior Center. That's probably against the fire code. At Dimes, it'll look empty. So we have a team, two directors on our board that are publicity. They have just started advertising in the paper. They arranged, I was just interviewed for Cape Cod Chronicle. And so we're branching out, and that is our goal, to bring in an audience. I have an association with the Tri-County Band in Marion, and we go to each other's concerts. So if we can get people from that area, it's only 45 minutes away, but we don't have the advertising budget. Basically, our members do not have to pay to play, which many groups do. So our income simply comes from free will donations, grants, and the advertising. This is our program from 2 years ago. It has grown greatly, and this is our recent advertising to purchase ads in the program and for individuals to sponsor. So that's basically why we wrote the grant.
Yeah.
Really, because we want to expand, and we're good. We really are. We have 4 violas. We went from none to 4. We've got 8 cellists. So we've got a full, beautiful sound. We're playing our May concert, we're playing Beethoven's Fifth, hopefully Shostakovich's Fifth, if we can get it. It's a rental now and it's expensive. Mendelssohn's Fifth, movements from them, because our theme will be Give Me Five. And so that's the reason why I wrote the grant. So we're hoping.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
for
good job. Excellent.
again and
Nice
for
work.
applying. We'll start with any questions? Questions on this way?
Is it at the DY?
It'll be at the intermediate school. It was, so originally we thought it would be at the high school because the intermediate on Sundays is hosting a church, but we were able to finagle times.
Oh, great.
So we'll be there, and we prefer to be there because they have the lighting, sound and lighting, and it's just beautiful.
Is
We,
acoustics good there too?
yes,
Yeah?
we did a children's concert there last March, and yeah, it's beautiful. It's comfortable,
Yeah,
it's
wow.
pretty, but it's professional looking.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And when do you go to the Cape Symphony at Barnstable High School?
No.
They're aging. It's a beautiful facility, but it doesn't, after you've been to Dimes, it doesn't showcase as well.
Yeah.
I think it's 600.
So
I might be off on that. Right. And what we'll do is, and I think, when we first move there, we won't have as many, and we'll block off the upper portion
Yeah.
so that it's, so the kids don't go up to the top and as they like to.
I think it's even more. Intermediate school, I think is 900.
900, then maybe it's the high school might be 600.
What they charge you?
Oh, good question. They do not have a set rate for the auditorium yet. So right now I'm charged 195 to use the maintenance and the band room to set up and the lighting. My guess it'll be about 500. So we'll probably spend about 700, but they can't give me a price yet.
Why is that? Have they said why?
Yeah, no,
Have they
No.
not established a price?
we probably haven't got it yet.
They haven't had all their meetings. They said they
Ah.
were still meeting, and even the high school didn't give me a set price. I think they're just changing everything because they have the ability now. Monomoy charges us $700 to perform, so I'm assuming it'll be about the same. And ultimately, we rehearse at Harwich Senior Center or Harwich Community Center now, and we're growing out of that space. Ultimately,
Space, huh?
I would like to rehearse at DY
Um,
band room.
is a school making you hire any police
No.
for the event?
No.
Okay.
Not that I've heard of.
Fun surprise.
I think that would be a good thing for you. If you had to, because you have a huge attendance.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And ultimately down the road, maybe.
Joe Gibbs, any questions? Any more questions?
Can I ask you a
Yeah.
question? Just, Susan, I'm wondering, you have the the single page sheet that was like a
Oh, the-
half size
oh,
or
the
something.
Oh,
No, how do you go about distributing that, looking for?
the orchestra members go door to door. We go to, I asked my piano tuner. We go into the business like Nancy's Candies, which is no longer Nancy's Candies, and Dennis has advertised. Chatelaine Real Estate. We go to our friends and family.
Super.
Yeah. And then we have an email list, and people who attend the concerts usually then will donate and become, sponsors.
And do you have a social media presence?
We're working on that. Our former president, as not all of us are very savvy. So our former president is, and she's just started an Instagram account, and we are on Facebook, and she's keeping that up to date.
Great.
And our webmaster is really, she's designed all of this, and she's designed the programs, and she's keeping the website up to date. And the website's nice.
Super.
Nice work, nice job.
Thank you.
I'm on the season ticket holder. She goes to.
To the Cape Symphony? Yeah.
Loves it.
Well, this weekend, they're playing Symphony Fantastique. I can't wait. I've never heard that one live. Berlioz.
She mentioned Star Wars to me, or
Yeah, they.
Oh, yeah, I go to the classical ones. That's the pop series, and they play Star Wars to the movie. They play the music live. So my grandmother,
that's what she told me.
back in the early, when she was about 16 or 17, she used to play in Newark, New Jersey for silent films. And she said, and I have all her music. And it's, fire chase scene and love scene. And that's really pretty cool. And she would play that live as the movie was going on. And that's basically what the symphony's doing now.
That's pretty
All the
cool.
music that you were talking about before is basically from Bugs Bunny, right?
Exactly. And that I actually have that on one of our things says, sounds familiar, you've heard it. Oh, our press release had that on Looney Tunes, and yeah,
That would be a fun.
that's where we learned all our classical music. I'm older than you.
Tell overture of that.
Yeah. Da-da-dum, 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 da-da-dum.
Yeah, we used to love
Yes.
bringing back memories, huh?
We're also playing Dance of the Hours. Remember, Hello, Mother. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just heard that the other day.
And it still holds up. If you listen to it now, Alan Sherman, it still holds
Yeah.
up. I will leave these for you.
Sure, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for coming in. and
Thank
we'll
you.
be in touch.
Excellent, Mrs. Mott. Thank you for the meeting and thank you for the opportunity.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Paul, we're ready for you.
First base.
Yes.
Thank you.
Actually, it's home run, so
I'm even wearing my sweatshirt.
we saw.
All right. So you have been before us before, thank you. Do you guys want to go into a little spiel or do you want to just start with questions since we're familiar? I'll leave it up to you guys.
I mean.
Do you want to give us a little preview of this coming season? Is there anything big happening?
Is
there anything big
you got a big thing
happening?
planned? this-
Yes, yes, we're hosting the Cape Cod Baseball League All-Star Game,
Amazing.
and it's a big deal. We estimate somewhere, weather depending, 3,000 to 6,000 people, sometimes more. I'm conservative in terms of planning. It's a long event. There are three big events to go, three things that draw people. Number one is batting practice, which involves players being scouted. Actually, the better time to scout these players is during batting practice because they take outfield, infield, they bat, and scouts sit behind home plate. You might only get one plate appearance in an all-star game. You don't learn much from that. So all the major league scouts from all the teams, multiple, so there'll be more than 30 scouts there taking video of the players. And that's when the fans like to come because usually the Cape League All-Stars are the ones that are most likely to end up in Major League Baseball. So you want to get their autographs early. Then we have a home run derby contest, which is very popular with fans, and little kids run out in the field. And we're going to have, the current plan is to have little leaguers from the local communities out there in the outfield shagging the balls. And then we have the game itself, which is always fun. So, if each event lasts approximately 2 hours, it's a pretty long day, be over around 7:30, getting started in the early afternoon.
Wow.
We're bringing in some additional concessions, food trucks. So there's a lot to do. I mean, we have to figure out where's everybody going to park and how we going
Well, they're gonna
to.
park in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see what I can do to.
Who's charging this year, though?
Are you? There you go.
After
Um, um, how do you direct people through certain gates because they have to pay to get in? Normally, we don't require that. So it's a big deal, and we're very excited about it. And we're going to show. I don't know if you remember. Forgive me if you do. I'm sorry. We put a lot of money into the field last
I
year.
was just gonna ask you about that. I know had some money from the town to help you out.
Yes. We put in, the town of Dennis and Yarmouth each contributed money to cover about 80% or 75% of the cost. But we substantially improved the field. We put in nets all the way down the line
What you were saying.
to help prevent people from getting injured. And the nets are better quality nets than any other Cape League team has, frankly. We have major league quality netting from dugout to dugout. And it's designed in a certain way so that after you sit there for a while, you actually don't see it. Your brain like shuts it out. And it's almost like, watching the game up close without nets. So, very excited about that. And we're also making more improvements going into next season.
Yeah, there were more improvements than just the netting, right? Wasn't there some actual on-field?
Well, yes. I mean, I didn't know. Forgive me. I didn't know if you wanted all
It's
the
okay. I
details.
just wondering how.
Yeah. So we
Curious,
improved
just
the
curious.
dugouts. We improved the padding around the dugouts. We put a brick wall behind home plate. We put padding on the wall so that if a player runs into the wall, he will not get injured because it's brick. It looks beautiful, the padding behind home plate. And in 2 years, our current plan is to put a warning track in, which is an area about 14 feet wide in front of the outfield fence, so that when an outfielder is running to catch a ball and he doesn't look down because he's tracking the ball, he can feel in his feet that it's gravel.
the fence.
And he says, uh-oh, I'm coming up
Better
to
be
the
careful.
fence.
Close.
And we don't have that now. And it's not good because these players are hitting the ball farther than ever and outfielders are running into walls and it'll be a good thing for the high school kids too. So it'll be a double benefit. We have fence we have to replace and things like that. But so that's what's going on right now. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Questions? Sorry, anybody?
What's the ticket price to get in? Oh, for the All-Star game?
It's usually $10. And where does that money go?
That was gonna be mine.
We don't get it. It's not our event.
League
It's the leagues.
goes to the
It's
league.
the league's event, and it covers a portion of the event. Because the event requires a lot of investment. There is NESN, New England Sports Network comes, and we don't have, they broadcast it, but we have to pay, the league pays a tremendous amount of money for the announcers and the trucks and the cameras and renting and all that stuff. All of the contributors to the league that fund the league throughout the year, we have a brunch for them and we have a brunch for the players around 11 o'clock. And then after the game, we feed the players some food. What YD gets out of it is exposure to our field, concession revenue that we're able to generate from our own, and some, raffles and things like that. So, I mean, the main reason we do it is really to show off our field and to bring people into the community because we like that. And one of the reasons we're really excited about it is that we have the most centrally located field in the Cape League. So it's about the best place to have the All-Star game. Last year it was in Falmouth and they did a wonderful job, but it's a bit of a haul to get out there. If you're from Chatham or Orleans or whatever. So, we expect a really good crowd.
Just out of curiosity, what did Falmouth do for, they must have transportation issues too, parking issues, right?
Yeah, they have a much more difficult situation than we do. If you're familiar with the parking lot at the Dennis Yarmouth High School, the parking lot directly in front of the field has many hundreds of spaces. And then there's parking around the school. We will have shuttles taking people to and fro. And we have to do a parking analysis before we haven't started that yet.
Do you partner with the church?
I don't know that. That's a good question, but I think we're gonna look at all the parking lots that are in the immediate facility.
About the middle school too, right?
Yep.
You said shuttle, who does the shuttling?
We have to pay for that.
Who does it?
Oh, we hire a local company and to hire a little bus.
Suggestion, you may want to look into the LTA that
Mhm.
might be able to do something for you. As far as
Okay.
Using their buses,
Okay.
vans.
The RTA?
Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority.
Yeah.
This is a suggestion. They might be able to do something,
Hey, I'll take any suggestions.
save you some money.
Thank you.
Questions for me, Madam Chair?
I thought we had, a question about, the level of support, the conversation that we had last year about the land. No, I thought we talked about the fact that there was an all-star game this year made a big difference to us in terms of considering this application.
Mhm.
But that we had talked about what we talked about last year in terms of continuing support.
Last year, we
Remember
asked
that?
about
Yeah, I
sponsors,
do.
partners, and contributions, and how do these differ from one another, and how do they play a role? So have you seen any increase appetite for sponsorships and partnerships this year with the All-Star game coming?
Yeah,
I gotta be completely honest with you. Can you raise that again?
Yeah, last year we asked about sponsors and partners and contributions. And so I guess this year we're interested to see if there's a bigger appetite from any sponsors or partners and
Very preliminarily, yes. I'd be lying if I said we've dug very deep into it. We're still wrapping up the season to some degree. We have a transition with a new treasurer and things like that. But I can tell you that we've already had one conversation with a really exciting new contributor that wants to be involved in a big way. We've reached out to those that have already helped us out in the past. We've publicized on our social media. By the way, our social media has expanded by like 1,000%.
great.
Like, that's not hyperbole. Like, we have data. It's incredible. Social media has a tendency to like explode exponentially. When just this past year, we have someone in charge of social media actually.
NIL contracts now, don't they?
Yeah, that's true too. And they love it when we say anything about them. We tag them on and then they repost it. Yes, preliminarily, have you seen excitement from sponsors and stuff like that?
Because last year, if you remember, this committee was wrestling with the definition of sustainability.
Right.
Right, and when
Right.
had an event
Mhm.
reached a level of sustainability?
Well, what do you mean when you use that term? You
We
mean,
were just thinking, this
keep-
isn't, this
That's
isn't,
a good
this isn't a process that goes on and on and on. At some point that you would pull away from us because you got to a point where you got much bigger now, you don't need the resources from this source.
oh, well, here's why your money is important. You might look at our balance sheet or whatever, and you might say, wow, they have all this money. But we're constantly looking down the road. For example, our scoreboard is going to have to be replaced.
Wait,
We have two buildings that are in desperate need of repair. So we have a capital.
those are physical capital improvements that I was told are more coming from the capital budget from the town and or the school departments that are involved, not from this resource.
No, they come from our fundraising.
Okay. So,
Okay,
well,
only when we can, and special, oh, go ahead.
but the town is, I think you said a moment ago, chipping in 75% of the capital cost for the netting.
Yep, they did do that.
So is your expectation that they're going to do that going forward as well?
Not for everything. When they are most likely to contribute is when something is improving the field itself, because it benefits the
So
young
this year you
people.
have I think it's $125,000 ask to the CPA.
It'll actually come into effect in 26, but
Okay,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah, and that would be divided up, but that's covering a portion of the cost that we would incur to put the warning track in and improve the fencing in the outfield.
Let me phrase it a different way.
Okay,
If, let's assume that the towns are going to contribute toward your capital improvement projects going forward, is there a need for this money?
yes, yes.
Also,
Because this money, it goes directly into our advertising budget for tourism, reaching out, like we're trying to get better at that. For example, when we survey people, we find, okay, how do people find out about us? And we're going to change our advertising plan accordingly. So every year, more and more people are saying anecdotally and in writing that they find out about us through social media. Well, our knowledge of social media is somewhat crude. I mean, there are professionals that can help us out with that. We should be on, for example, like where do people go? One of the questions I asked somebody, a professional in this field recently was, I live in Iowa and I want to go to the Cape. How do I find out what's on the Cape? Well, people used to buy books. We all did that 30 years ago, right? Okay. But people go on.
Creative books, the library was just here, all right? So
Okay. No, I love books. I have a whole car full of them. I'm filling up my basement with a library. But now people go on like TripAdvisor. So we need to be on TripAdvisor. And how do we do that? We might need to make a video. So, we're going to do a lot of the traditional things like magazines, advertising, rack cards in six and all those other things and signage. But there's a lot of other things that we do. And I can tell you flat out that we draw people to Denison, Yarmouth, tourists. We do. There are people that come and I say to them, hey, you got a funny accent. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from wherever. And I come every year to and they're staying in the hotels and they're going to the restaurants and doing all those kind of things. So if that's part of what your mission is, I feel very comfortable saying that that's kind of what we do.
what's your annual attendance?
I think I told you about 32,000, something like that. That's conservative because a lot of times we count the attendance early and estimate it. It's a combination of estimating and counting at the gate. And then more people come in and we just don't even know because we don't charge people. We
That
don't
would
have,
be my next question. When are you gonna start charging $5?
well, we can't do that. I mean, it's because the Cape League is founded on the idea that we're not here to make money. It's a nonprofit organization, and we have seniors and we have young people, and we love it when they come, and it's all part of the vibe of the
Don't you
Cape
think it
League.
relates to what we're talking about? If we're constantly going to CPC and CEDC and all these other town entities
Mhm.
looking for annual repeated support at some point.
Well, no, I understand. I appreciate the question.
Maybe your fans would appreciate the fact that you're a nonprofit and $5 really would bother them that much.
Well, we do get an average amount of revenue per fan. I mean, we know what that is. So,
concessions?
yeah, between concessions, merchandise, 50-50 raffle, net proceeds, and donations at the gate, we get, it varies from year to year, like $6 or something. I don't even know, $4 net per fan. So then we have expenses from that, and we get down to a certain amount, and we say, oh, we made X $1,000 this year. But then we have to turn around and, like last year, we had to paint. We had to put $35,000 into our merchandise booth because it was rotting from the inside. So yeah, there's money there, but it's earmarked for a lot of projects. And the only reason we're not doing everything at once is manpower. We're a 100% volunteer organization. The only person that makes any money really is the coach, Scott Pickler. Everybody else gets either a tiny little stipend or we have 40 interns. We have 20 board members. We have 50 adult volunteers. Everybody's doing it for free.
The interns don't get paid?
No. No, and they come from all over the world.
Yeah.
So
No.
in terms of the naivete you just described about social media, I would think that with all those players on the field, many of them who have hundreds of thousands of followers from college teams and are dealing with this realm, this space of NIL, there might be an opportunity for the league itself, the clubs themselves, to start entering into that space where the sponsorships come fast and readily.
Yeah, no, look, yeah, you should be at the Cape League meetings. We talk about this every month, which is NIL is a scary new world for us.
Unreal.
If you don't know what it is, it basically,
In college football, I think.
yeah, so in
Basketball.
college sports, traditionally, players got nothing. They got their scholarship. And it's a myth that they all got a free ride. Most of them didn't. They got portions of it. My daughter was a competitive swimmer, and all she really got was help getting in. We still paid. But then courts have said, oh, come on, the schools are making billions, a lot of them. So players are allowed to make money, not as salary, but they get they can sell their name, their image, or their likeness. NIL. Now, if a player is getting NIL revenue for playing for XYZ college, he might say to the Cape League, I want to earn money playing in the Cape League. So we're not seeing that yet, but it's a brave new world out there and all these
Maybe
things.
that's something they want, which is to be in front of those 30 scouts.
That's right. Yeah, we know that. But you know, players are funny. They show up for a few weeks and then they leave before the season's over. Why? Because the scouts already saw them.
Yeah.
So we're constantly recruiting players even during the course of the season. I used to go to Cape League games, blissfully ignorant of all that goes on behind the scenes. It's mayhem.
Yeah.
Running the Cape Cod Baseball League. That's why you can really, most people involved in the Cape League are like me. They're either semi-retired or retired because you cannot really work and be involved in it to a great degree. And it's 10 weeks and it goes by in the blink of an eye. And when that last game is over, I go home and I sit in the chair all by myself in the darkness for like 3 hours. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's over.
Full beer, I hope.
Oh, more than one.
I guess oh, go ahead.
Is it your policy? Is it the league's policy or the individual team's policy not to charge a fee?
It's the league's
The
policy.
league's policy, really?
Yeah, family-friendly entertainment.
Now, that's kind of contradictory because they have the special event in this year, the playoff thing, and they're gonna charge a fee.
Not the playoff, the All-Star
The
game.
All-Star game.
Yeah, no, they always charge for the All-Star game, and that's
They
because,
don't let you charge a fee for each of the games. The league doesn't let.
well, I
individual
mean, if you,
teams charge.
look, I have to be honest with you folks, if they gave us the option of
I
charging,
still wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it.
My next question.
No, I wouldn't do it because I believe in the mission of the league. I believe that somebody should be able at 6 o'clock to come off the beach in their sandals and come and watch great baseball. I think that's what the league is. Yeah, you know, it's not.
Do you think you'd lose fan appeal if there were a $5 charge?
Yes,
You do.
I do. And some teams,
Your survey coming up.
well, some teams do charge like with guilt at the gate.
Yeah, they get a good hustler at the front there.
Yeah, and yeah, it's unpleasant. It's contrary to what the league is about. We have a big jug there. We say to people,
That's enough guilt for me.
right?
That big jug.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this
Gotta
looks
do
like it
something.
needs something for my pocket.
Yeah,
Like,
and
there's-
you know, and every once in a while, a guy with a Rolex and 5 kids
Yeah.
goes by it and doesn't put anything in.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're watching him, buddy. We're all good for the year.
But every once in a while, a good.
Oh, he's good for 100 at the concession stand. with
Yeah.
5.
Yeah. So and then I gotta follow this guy. Is he gonna buy anything? You know. But you know, the average revenue per fan is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, between the net hot dog sales, the net donut burger sales, and the net concession sales. So it's yeah, and you know, the other thing about it is when you start talking about charging people, there's an infrastructure that you would have to build around that.
Mhm.
You'd have to have people at the
Yeah.
gates. You'd have to surround the field with fences. You would have to have, you know, turnstile and all those other things. So I appreciate your question and we talk about it, but it's not the league's policy. So I can't really
Yeah.
do that.
For
but
your
we could,
donation bin, do you have a Venmo scan?
we haven't.
That's a great question.
Now, that is something that we want to introduce. We've gotten some conflicting legal advice about that and how that actually works. Venmo for nonprofits. I'm an attorney, but I don't usually give legal advice to the team because, you know, that old saying,
Yeah.
you have a fool for a client. So we're hoping to get that straightened out, but there has to be some way we can do it, either with a square,
There's gotta be.
the
There's-
square
there's
system.
Specific platforms made for nonprofits specifically to like, something butter, something, there's a couple different ones out there that are made specifically for
Yeah,
nonprofits.
yeah, because we do have well-off people that show up and go, oh, I don't have any cash, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, in this day and age, yeah.
Oh, they
You
have
know.
their phone.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Their phone.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 50-50 raffle does pretty well. But no, it's the way I always say it is it's somewhere between 20 and 25 Broadway shows we put on a year.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes the show is great.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, we're losing 8-1 in the third inning, and you know, then we try to get the crowd excited in other ways. You don't have any control over, you know, the event, you know, but you know, we appreciate all you do, and I certainly understand there's competition for revenue and you know, whatever you can do to help us out, you know, it goes to a good spot, I can assure you.
I think our biggest thing this year is with the All-Star game is making sure that's like a huge highlight of the marketing campaign that gets done by the team and the club.
Yeah, it will be. Absolutely. I mean, we have some new volunteers that are coming in just to work on the All-Star Game committee because the rest of us were a little concerned that it would impact our work. So I'm obviously going to be involved, but we have a couple of people from the outside that know how to run events and you know, we have some parking expertise. It's a tradition for the team that did it last year to be on the committee.
Oh, great.
So Falmouth folks drove up about 2 weeks ago and met with us with their list of pros and cons of their,
Don't.
things that they wish they did differently. I think our event's going to be a little different than theirs just because of they had a real struggle with the parking and
Yeah.
getting everyone there, and their field's kind of behind a building. It's kind of hard to find. We're very clearly,
Right off the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, we're right there.
Yeah.
And, you know, no disrespect to them because they did a good job, but I think we have some advantages. So.
Look,
Yeah.
Yeah, just, when's the last time Yarmouth had the All-Star game?
I was afraid you'd ask me
I'm
that.
sorry.
No,
Before your time.
no, it was about, it was funny. I think it was about 12 or 14 years ago. But at that time, we did it frequently. We did it like every 4 or 5 years. And now there's been a gap.
So how does it get selected?
You bid for it.
Okay.
You put in a new wall and some padding and.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
The All-Star
Yeah,
game.
no.
does the nicest venue win?
No, it's, in some cases, does anybody want to do it?
Yeah.
And in some cases, it's, you know, there's actually competition for it. We made it known, I became president just over 2 years ago. I made it known to them that we wanted to do it. So nobody really bid on us because 2 years ago they said, all right, well, why do you know, put in a bid for 24, you probably get 25, you'll probably get it. Already there are teams lining up to do it next year. It's not something you want to do every year.
Yeah.
much longer, a lot of work.
You know, you don't want to do it every year. But yeah, there's a lot going on.
Will you
So
have, is there a way to have any special fundraising just for the team at the All-Star game, or is it?
at the All-Star game, you're not allowed, you're allowed to raise money, not at the gate, because that's the
Okay.
Cape League team, the Cape Cod League owns the gate.
Okay.
So if you
Yeah.
show up, I don't have a ticket in advance, they'll sell you a ticket for $10. They have the gate.
Oh,
Gotcha.
But we're allowed to have the 50-50 raffle, which
so
is
that's gotta be a big take. big
hopefully,
audience.
yeah, it should be pretty good, given the fact that we're gonna have a big crowd and we have you know, we expect to have, all of our interns will be running around with buckets and tickets. And it's funny, people love the 50-50 raffle. Wherever they go, you can go to
Anyway.
you know, it's fun. It's a really good odds, you know, you get 50% of the money is doled out. So, And we'll have some other prizes as well, but, yeah, we might sell some merchandise, hot dogs. Do you know about our donut burger? Do you guys?
You
Yes.
heard about
Yes.
jelly and all that?
It's a
Bill.
burger inside a donut. We have a wonderful local Yarmouth partner, the Hole in One Donuts,
Yep.
Wow.
which are unbelievable donuts.
Yeah.
They're like, giant. And they're a great partner, and hopefully that, they're very much involved in the All-Star game. So
Oh, the hurler.
there's different ones. There's the hurler, there's the screamer. One of them is a jelly donut with a burger inside. One of them is a a glazed donut. Some of them
Can I
have.
have one of those, Jan?
You gonna have one? There's a cardiologist on site in case anything happens.
Goodness.
Yeah, but we just brought that back 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was gone for a couple of years. And when I became president, I said,
Gotta bring it
my
back.
first, how presidents always say, my first day in office. So my first day in office, I said, bringing back the donut burger.
Nice.
Well,
Yes.
we're giving you a thorough grilling, speaking of burgers. Appreciate it.
Oh, I'm,
Great. I think the events are always great.
Yeah,
Those
keep it.
Broadway shows are good either way.
yeah.
I'm excited to see how the team markets it and what sort of partnerships come up and what you can do and
Yeah.
work. Like, I don't know, like maybe some of the local restaurants want to do like viewing parties. And like, if Nesson's gonna be there and they can get on the TV, maybe Sea Dog or Giordino's or somebody want to do like a viewing party for those who don't want to hassle going down to the field, but still want to watch and contribute in some way. And they, discounts or something.
Good
That's a
idea.
great
That's a good idea.
Something.
Sure you don't want to be on our board?
If you don't meet on Tuesdays, I'll consider it. But I'm pretty busy. But we do appreciate you coming in.
No,
Thank
it's
you
my
so much.
pleasure.
Yeah,
My
thanks for
pleasure.
your
I'm
time.
off to a YD Red Sox meeting. So
Okay.
I look forward to
Look.
hearing
Great.
it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
you.
you.
Oops, sorry. Hi, Jan. Thanks for your patience.
Not a problem. First of all, I have to apologize for the fireworks debris on the beach. It was very embarrassing. My daughter and I took care of it.
Thank you.
It will never happen again. I promise you. We will have a
Okay, we got
cleanup
this on
committee.
record now, Jan, too.
I think you had it on record last time. But I never thought that 2 days later, the tide would come in with all these little pieces of coconuts. or whatever.
Coconuts.
They did. I couldn't walk for about 2 days afterwards. but
After I
that's
bended over.
okay.
Yeah.
And we felt terrible.
No, it's, you live and you learn.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So do you want to talk a little bit or do we feel like we know?
I
Any-
never have a question. You're doing a great job. Keep up the great work.
This year seems like it was a great success.
It was.
Very nice weather, great
It
weekend.
was,
It
it
was
was,
packed.
except for the rain for the fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was packed.
We were parking behind the job lot early in the morning.
Oh,
Wow.
I know, it's crazy. You go to Shaw's to get a donation and there's a new manager goes, oh, I heard about the Seaside Festival. That's when you guys park in that parking lot? And I went, yeah, but they're gonna buy something from you on the way
Right?
home. But yeah, it's packed, it's crazy. Weather determines a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, good weather.
Next year will be the 47th year?
43rd?
43rd?
Actually, no, this year was the 45th,
45th.
because we missed 1 year because of COVID.
Okay.
That's right.
So it'll be the 46th one.
Yeah. Wow.
Of my 47th year.
Wow. Fantastic.
It was like 5 when I started this stupid thing.
Do we want to go around with any questions that we have?
Yeah, any questions, anybody?
No,
I don't have any questions.
not at all.
How did like sponsorships and donations and partnerships go this year?
Not great, not as well as it has in the past.
Mhm.
I'm still waiting for one that was promised, but it's not in yet.
Yeah.
Why do you think
It's,
that is?
pardon?
Why do you think that is?
No.
Diplomatically.
You don't have to say it if you don't want to.
Well, I just had to call the fire department today because they sent the
Okay.
bill to the street address of the festival. I guess they have a new secretary. And so she sent it to 1175
Okay.
Route 28, and I never got the bill.
Oh, no.
And so I was trying to do my final report, and I'm like, oh my God, we don't have the fireworks. I mean, the fire department bill. So anyhow, but it was the other side that we don't have a donation for yet.
Okay.
But it'll come eventually, I'm sure. But yeah, it was down this year. Just people are struggling.
Mhm. So I guess my question going forward would be, how are you looking ahead for next year's event, knowing that anticipated revenues and donations might not come in to where they have been in the past?
Well, we keep trying to come up with new ideas. People have been bothering me for years for a beer tent.
Mhm.
There seems to always be money for that. I don't know what it will do to our insurance.
Mhm.
Our insurance went up. A year ago, it was 4,500. This year it was 6,500.
Mhm.
So God knows what it'll be next year with all these hurricanes and all. So it's just hard to judge,
Yeah.
you know? And we've promoted this as a family event.
Yeah.
And I just hate to think that all it takes is one,
Yeah.
you know?
I guess off of that note, instead of adding things, would it ever, do you think, be worth it to like reduce it from a 2-day big thing to a longer 1 day? You can still do the fireworks and the kayak race and all that throughout the course of the weekend, but maybe not having the 2 days
We
at
wouldn't get the
field.
revenue from the crafters, the food vendors. It's too much work to set up for 1 day.
Even with all the other events that they have going on. I know people who were at multiple events this past weekend. This past
Yes.
Columbus Day weekend.
Yes, if they have
Yeah.
the equipment to do it.
Okay.
That's difficult.
Is the revenue that much more than the expense? Like, do you get that much more revenue than it costs to, like, is it that much of a gain?
Well, that's what pays for this. Last year's event cost $115,000.
And what was your revenue from that? Like, I know you basically break even, but
We broke even. Well, we had to put, with the grant from last year, we put 15,000 in from our reserves in to pay for it. But this year we went kind of heavy on the fireworks simply because it was the 45th year. We
Yeah.
thought it would be,
big birthday.
right. So, I mean, we can cut back on that and we can knock on more doors. But our events, I mean, we had 240 runners in the road race.
Yeah.
And that's a revenue for us.
Yeah.
And the canoe, we had 17 canoe and kayaks.
Yeah.
That's a revenue for us. We made $5 grand off of our food booth. You know, we made probably 5,500 off of vendors.
Yeah.
We make about 10,000, I think it was 9 something this year for parking.
Yeah.
So, you know, we keep adding things to help supplement.
Yeah.
And hopefully the businesses will be doing a little bit better next year. Who knows?
Any more, so we talked when we were looking at the beach about getting people to help
Yes,
just with the fireworks, maybe.
right.
So have you given that any more thought? Since
We
I
have-
mean, and I know you just had the festival.
We have not even had
But-
a wrap-up meeting yet.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Our idea at the beach when we were down there looking at the debris that had come in was just, is there some group, you know, we were like Boy Scouts or
That or-
something like that,
Yeah.
to just kind of adopt the firework component,
Yeah.
and-
Something.
do the cleanup or do
Yeah.
something like that. But because I know like you have some volunteers, but it's a lot of work.
my
for
volunteers
few-
are on
few
the
folks.
board.
Yeah,
It's to the point where we pay people to park cars for half a day. Because you can't get anybody to do it and you just can't have people out there, you know.
how much, do you know how much you put out for that type of work?
Yeah, we were still able to make
Yeah,
about $9,000. I mean, you know, it's half a day, it's
Yeah.
$50 or whatever. It's, you know,
Yeah.
it's a token,
it's something,
but it's something.
yeah.
And there are people that are that needy that are willing to do it,
Or they like
which
it.
is wonderful.
Yeah.
And then your granddaughter has to get grabbed and get out back quick. Somebody bagged in, we don't have out there. Oh, I mean, you just do what you gotta do.
Have you gone to the high schools for a lot of, some of them have community hours that the kids have to do?
We had 3 kids.
Okay, sounds about right.
Yeah, I imagine that's a tough weekend.
We had 1 half day and 2 full days,
Okay.
but the kids had a good time. And we paid the school for them so that it could go towards their prom or whatever. Or their yearbook.
That's so sweet.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
Oh, well, their classmates better thank them for showing up.
yeah, well, they'll get it.
Yeah.
Not
It's
their
their
classmates.
attendance.
Yes, like,
Oh, good.
It's
There you
that's,
go.
yeah.
sweet.
Cute.
But,
That's nice.
we try to give back. I mean, we have pumpkins donated for the kids' pumpkin. And I think they charge $1. But we have the Girl Scouts or a small group help the kids decorate. And they provide all the pipe cleaners and glue and whatever else. So we let the troop keep the $1 per pumpkin. So it's a fundraiser for them. So we do give back,
Yeah.
we're not really money hungry greedy,
Yeah.
but we are a little greedy.
Are there other questions, anybody?
Okay.
No? All right. Thanks, Jan.
Okay,
Gonna serve
Thank
any donut burgers next year?
we have mini donuts of all types, but no burgers in the middle. We might have a hot dog burger, a hot dog donut.
Yeah.
Stick a hot dog.
There
in
you
the
go.
middle. We're gonna beat them.
You're gonna put it in a crawler.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Bob, I
Thank
don't
you.
know. Bob,
You gonna look for him?
Print in the calendar.
What will be tomorrow.
No,
Yes, so.
I mean, it's not settled, but I don't think she's out there
Well, yeah.
sinking people on us. I think he's just.
No, I didn't think that either.
Hi, Bob.
How are you?
Good, how you doing?
Did the animals get fed tonight?
They did. I was down there.
I figured you were.
I changed shoes before I came. Show a little respect. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us again.
Always a pleasure. There's questions. I got all sorts of answers here. I can also sell some calendars while I'm here. If anybody-
You know he wants one or two.
Put me down for 3.
He wants to be in it next year.
Although I don't have any cash to take Venmo.
That's what I'm saying.
I can.
See you there?
There you go.
Guys on top of the game.
I recognize all the faces. I'm not sure if I remember all the names though. But I'm Bob Clark and I'm proudly representing Taylor Bray Farm here tonight. And the first thing I wanted to start off with was these were the 2 events last year that you sponsored. Last year's Sheep Festival and the Fall Fest that just happened a couple of weeks ago. They were our 2 best days of the year. So you guys were part of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Sheep Festival is the biggest one of them. And I always have some show and tells. If you come to the Sheep Festival, you get one of these at the parking lot, which basically tells you what you're going to see when you come in. The different programs, the sheep herding, the sheep shearing, they alternate during the day, one then the other. So people there for an hour and a half to 2 hours can see everything that there is to see. Wool spinning, rug hooking, weaving, and all that kind of stuff, old-fashioned things. Hay rides go all day. We have a full merchandise line of sales in addition to the calendars. We have T-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, hoodies, shopping bags, note cards, mugs, you name it. And there's an archaeological display inside the house as well as the farmhouse, which was restored with a lot of money from the town grants over the years. open for tourists during the day too. We have a team of docents who multiple times during the year and at all the festivals have the house open for tours. Silent auction is one of the biggest money makers in the house, and it's also one of the things that helps many of the Yarmouth businesses as well as other Cape Cod businesses and so on. And all of them are listed on the backside of the program. You'll see a long list of silent auction sponsors and raffle sponsors. These are all people, you'll recognize many of the names, and they gladly support us each year, many of them year over year. And it's good for them and it's good for us. They get new people coming in and people spending more than the gift card was. And if they like it, and most of them should because they're all good places, they'll come back. Good for us because we make money and there's no overhead on these things. So this is why we make a lot of profit in this area as opposed to selling a hot dog. You're making a little bit of money on. This is all profit.
Mm-hmm.
The names up the top are just as important. These people aren't giving us something to sell or do with a raffle or a donation. They're giving us cold cash. The X Grill, of course, is a big show for a lot of people seeing the food being cooked. But between Agway, Cooperative Bank, and Cape Cod 5, they're giving us money to sponsor some of these events that are some of the more expensive ones. And guys like Craig Witten over at Witten Landscape and Nauset Disposal was funny. We've been buying of outhouses from them each year. They've been charging me for one, giving me one. This time they said, we're not going to do that. But you got to pay for them both. But we're going to be a sponsor. So they gave me enough sponsorship money to pay the cost of the two stuff. So we have friends out there.
Mhm.
And the other guys down the bottom all gave us, $100. The silvers gave us $250, and the golds gave us $500. And some of the other sponsors there, one is listed Sunderland Printing. He comes out and gives me the box of programs and says, "Here, these are on us. Have a good festival."
What did James Taylor give you?
Yeah,
Tickets out to Tanglewood.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
he's been doing
amazing.
it for years. We get 2 lawn tickets, and they're always a hit going out there. Either the 3rd or 4th, and we
Wow.
get the tickets. Yeah, we convinced him he's a long relative of the farm.
Who convinced him?
great.
This, again, is our biggest event. Any questions on it or what's involved in it, how we do it? I also, for some people who are not as familiar, or who are not members, who haven't gotten newsletters from, we get through a newsletter and some other information about the farm in general that you can see. We send one of these out twice a year. Marty, our president, who was here with me last night, but
He was here last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He puts out a note to begin with. We give some updates. You can see there's an article here about these are the kids from AmeriCorps in the inside, and you can see the updated barn. Many pictures of our volunteers, animal news, and
notification about the calendars and the fall festival thing. These go out to about three to 400 people. God bless you. And we send one out in May that also includes a coupon in the bottom to sign up to be a member, and get a lot of people who within weeks sign up and send their check back in and whatever. I think I announced that we have about 78 renewals in so far since when we sent them. And so we have a good following, and they're not just all Yarmouth people. They're all over the Cape, and I got them from Texas. I got them from one of the islands. I got them from all over the place. There's a bunch of tailors spread out that are around the places too. And they occasionally want to buy the new tailor gear that's out there. But I wanted to share all this stuff because the other one was the fall festival. It's over here someplace. This is also a special day in that this year was unbelievable. We had at least 1,600 people there. I mean, there were lines
for hay rides going. There were lines, cars parked all the way down Nottingham and all the way up Bray Farm Road and halfway up to 6A to get into the parking lot. At $5 a donation for parking, we made over $2,300 in parking. That just give you an idea. And we didn't get money from all those other people and stuff. So, I mean, we filled the place to capacity. And we learned some things that we need to change and do. For example, we need to have a bigger contract with Nauset Disposal with that many people. You don't usually get that many on an event. So we learn. But the key to this one, and we've sent some videos over of it too with the package. It's loaded with kids because it's all toys, games for kids, and there was lines for face painting, and it's just a real fun family outing for people. And it's short money, you know, all you do is pay $5 to get in. It's up to you if you spend anything more. It's all donations after that. Obviously was charging, again, very reasonable prices for the food and stuff. So we're proud of our operations and we thank you for your support. I'll answer any questions.
Love it. Do we have
My
questions?
kids loved the
I have a
fest.
couple of questions.
Sure.
That's a good one.
You're talking about swag. Where can I buy swag?
At any of the festivals. And you can also on any Saturday morning at around 9:30 stop in. If you come early and bring your old boots, you can help shovel some whatever, but
It's a lot of fun.
Karen's been there. So has her husband and her daughter. But also any night at right now we're doing animal feeding at 4:30 because it gets dark. We have a couple people down there every night that could pick out some stuff, sweatshirts, hats, and that kind of stuff.
Okay. I just didn't see it anywhere here or anywhere
You
here.
can't order them online. Or can
No,
you?
we don't truly have an online store at this point in time for this stuff. But we will respond to phone calls and make special arrangements for people and that kind of stuff.
Give me a shovel while you're at it.
The
Special shop.
I showed Karen the other night, there's another iPhone in my house and it has the picture of this entrance
that's
sign
your
to
home
it. This is my home phone. That's the family on this one.
And there's no section on this for weddings.
That's for a good reason. They're special for people who have a connection and we don't want to, the neighbors would drive us very unhappy. We would drive the neighbors very unhappy if we had them a lot.
Yeah.
So we limit and try to have, 3, 4 at most in a season. I didn't answer probably 42 to 46 phone calls from the Knot who wanted me to be in their program to have people be a wedding mill.
Yeah, no, once you're in there.
They were like a pit bull trying
my
to come
God.
after you and stuff, going. We don't want to be in that kind of venue. So we don't push it.
Okay.
It's kind of word of mouth and people who have been at weddings there and that kind of stuff. And it's only for the sanity and of the animals, the people, and that kind of stuff.
Understood.
So this was one of your bigger events ever, right?
Yes.
And my question has to do with the neighbors, and there's no issues with the neighbors as far as.
No, because they wrap up at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
And most of them are there. Half of them are volunteering.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I mean, we have a very good relationship there. Whereas the weddings, we have a hard shutdown at 10.
Yeah, I can see.
Most of them are fine with that too. And several of us are there to make sure that the music and the drinks are shut by then and they're out of there by 10:30. And most of them are fine with that. Many say they will sit on the deck and have a glass of wine and enjoy the music up until 10 o'clock when it shuts down. So we have good relationships with the neighbors and they're almost every one of them's a member. And in their mind, what's good for the farm is good for them.
Yep.
And the weddings all go through the select board, right?
Correct. We fill out it's a complicated process that you just can't really put all the information out there as far as getting the use of town land thing and getting the permits for tents, liquor,
Yeah.
signs,
Well aware.
It's going gifted to 20 people. In and out, Bob. In and out.
going through these things. And even small weddings like that, we sometimes get wonderful donations. Thank you. The other thing is just give you an idea that we're just not about festivals and an occasional wedding. There's place on one of these photos. I was,
All-star game?
I was gonna ask, do you think, little baby Gray, formerly known as Meatball for a small period of time, drew a lot of people this year? to watch him grow?
he was a big hit, yes. And the fact that there was a lot of information coming in on a daily basis on Facebook, and there's 2,900 followers out there. There was people flowing here.
Months at a time, was taking people's pictures of the baby.
These are a couple of, these are, I follow how many people look at us on Google. And this is the June Google thing. You can guess what time of month the event was, where Google things started going up, getting directions and coming and stuff. That's two for the 400 there. And we usually have a lot, but then it jumps. And then I have the same thing for, thought I had it here for the October one was just about, yeah. Same thing. It spikes where people were interested.
Yeah.
The weather was beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. People looking for something to do, and they find it, and they look for directions, and they're coming from what. So this just also shows local people don't need to go on Google to know to come here. We're bringing people in for this.
Yeah.
So with regard to that specifically, are you paying for that? You have a Google ad grant?
I do not.
Okay. I think it would be very easy for you to get one. From
an ad grant?
Yes, to give to the nonprofits. Google gives $10,000 a month. Hard to spend for several reasons. It's pretty easy to get. And that you might see that
spike even more.
Well, it may spike even more, but there may be some support on either side of it. The shoulders of that.
Yeah.
That will up the consistent traffic.
I will follow up with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a prohibitive process. It's pretty easy to get.
One of the things that we are somewhat challenged with is needing to add, not just for the people who are, you can always get loads of people who want to take care of the animals and come down and do that. And more of them that want to brush them and walk them as opposed to shoveling up after them. But we get some that know one is part of doing the other, and they come regularly, and we have a great group of volunteers. And the whole thing is, as everybody knows, I think, all volunteers all year. And we have, on a sheep festival, 30 some odd volunteers over there between docents and people parking and food, and auction people, maybe 35. But getting somebody proficient on website work and that kind of stuff that has the skills to help and do, we're working and trying to improve the bench there and get some new players and stuff, because some of those kinds of things probably fall on the floor that shouldn't, that we could use help with. And we're talking to people all the time. We mentioned it on our meeting last night even and stuff, that for people who were on it, that the board is actively looking at things like that to try to do more.
The meeting last night, just for anybody that doesn't know, was the annual
meeting. As all nonprofits have to do. In the world of non-tech at all, this was in the farmhouse and stuff. No, this is where the volunteers come in and put what's coming up here and stuff. And this was the month of October that just came off there and stuff, on a bulletin board. And this was the last week of October on the Barnstable County Innovation Group coming in for tours and hay rides. The Preschool Explorers, Andrea's group, Diane Hills, the Family Children's Cycle from Sandwich. Amy Jones with the Barnstable County Innovation, and who's this other one here? Nora Hendrick, 5 and 6 year olds and adults coming in from whatever program that was. So, I mean, we get kids from all over. We had, on election day, we had the Truro Rec group come with 20 some odd people.
That's great.
And they were down there with volunteers, showing them the animals, feeding with them and taking them on a hay ride and that kind of stuff. And the town of Truro writing a check to us to do that and stuff. So, I mean, we try to reach out and do a lot all year long. And what makes it possible, obviously, is to, when we have these events, to make enough money that we can support the rest of the year and do all these things. You know, we spend, last year, total expenses of running everything was just under $50,000, so.
Any questions, anybody?
Good, great job.
Thank you.
Great work as always.
Nice work.
Yeah.
We're gonna be deliberating, then we'll
Thank you.
be in touch. Thanks for coming, Bob.
Always a pleasure. Thank
Yes.
you.
Something for you.
Yes.
Wrap it up. Yeah.
I like to get mine on the table. We start at Taylor Bray and work our way down.
Oh, you have a code for me to scan?
Is there a copy of the Zoom
Yes.
thing? Good, because when I
Yes.
went to my thing, it said, not there.
I found it.
Uh, Just bear with me 1 second here. And make like I'm not here if you want to start your.
No, we have to wait for you to leave because we're gonna be talking about you.
Well, okay then.
Looking at what's the work. We're probably getting whatever, right?
Isn't that what you would do, Joe?
Yes, I'm pretty sure I would, and I'd want to put the baseball club up against that too.
I think you're right. Who makes the calendar, Bob?
Maureen, in collaboration with somebody over at Quicker Printing, the old
Yep, the old Winker.
Winker, yeah.
Yep,
They've
that's
been doing
great.
it with Judy. She's one of the weaver spinners from the farm.
Oh,
So she takes a special interest in the
Nice.
farm, working with her, and they put it together, yeah.
That's amazing.
Let me try to.
Do you know what your Venmo is off the top of your head?
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Should be, let's see, we got 17 times 3 is the amount we're looking for here. So that's $51.
Because I'm thoroughly enjoying the calendar that I currently have on my fridge. I need another one.
In code. Okay. Yeah, it needs something to go back.
yeah. What's the woman who came with Minnie?
That's Jane King. She's the library director.
She looks rather from the library.
She's a character. She's great.
I feel like I've seen her.
I was saying missing
Yeah.
code and I just put one.
Yeah, she's
She's great.
Bob, why don't I use the website and just make the donation?
You-
plus 51.
You can do that. All right, okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
If I
Thanks.
don't, Karen knows me.
We have our reach too. And we got lots of land to cover up.
Shovels,
And
right?
a big Kubota to dig holes with.
Thank you, Bob.
Message received.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Right.
Did
Thank
you
you.
like my new one? You get it.
Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you. Not as many as you think.
No?
No. Alrighty,
Like a guy with threatening me on my calendar.
yeah,
Make nice calendars.
they do.
I
I
love
already
them.
have mine.
You don't want one?
I already have it,
So do we wanna,
but thank you.
Excuse me.
Oh, let me take a look. 51.
it's like, I thought that was my gift.
wow.
$17 a piece, that's not bad.
I'm not,
Yeah.
I see, I don't even want to look at it because I like being surprised. Every year it's like the advent.
They've got some great stuff at their little holiday festival. The stroll happens too. All right, do you wanna?
The long sleeve t-shirts are a family favorite.
Really?
They're fantastic.
Okay.
There we go.
You need a cool sweatshirt.
They're nice.
All right.
Yeah. Celebrate.
Let's get some camera.
Huge, yeah.
All right, do you want to just go down the line in order of appearances? We'll deliberate and discuss, so we'll start with the libraries. Their request was for $9,175. Any remarks, comments?
She's working hard.
She
I
is
was
working hard.
impressed. She's awesome.
I know,
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
okay,
As a matter of fact, Madam Chairperson,
yes,
I make a motion to approve all these. I don't see any issues with any of them.
is there a second?
Second.
You want to add any?
Do you want to,
conditions to-
yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that.
All right, why don't we do
Can
them
do
individually?
prove what you want and hold
There's
anything
only
you want to
four. I
talk
think we
about?
can probably do them separately.
Yeah, we'll just, okay, I thank you,
Okay.
Steve, we'll go down the line quick, in case there aren't any. Okay, so all in favor for,
So who had the second?
I had it down as Pete.
Okay.
Yep.
Are
Um,
you taking notes?
I'm just keeping it a track
Okay.
for myself of
Okay.
who's making the first and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, well, that's easy. All right, Cape Cod Community Orchestra Fall Concerts.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright.
Okay, and then who's next?
Red
YD
Sox.
Red
Third one
Sox.
is-
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any
Question?
discussion?
I
Yes,
know this keeps coming up. I think this just goes back to that sustainability. So just in looking at their budget, and again, yeah, I'm for this, but I'm like, I think that back to that sustainability. So their budget that they put in is a $57,000 profit plus whatever we give them is gonna increase it. So it's about a $67,000 profit.
Mhm.
You know, this is a little bit different than some of these events. And, you know, I know that they have different overhead and everything else, but I think at some point we need to look further as, you know, we're just gonna keep offsetting these things. I mean, to me, this is I know it's a nonprofit, but it is, you know, with the profits that they're bringing in,
Mhm.
it just seems a little out of kilter to me. Again, it's sustainability and doing this. And I remember when they first came to us years ago, it was kind of like, oh, this is gonna be a one-off. And the one-off is this is like the fourth or fifth time.
Mhm.
And I just don't know that it's the event thing, you know, I know it's a whole season of things, but I just,
Yeah.
my head it's a little harder to wrap around this one, at least my head. And, you know, I know we've discussed is that, and, you know, I'm just one vote, but I just.
Is it because you don't think they need the money, Joe?
I don't think that they need,
Okay.
I
I mean, I'm
think just
just-
looking at this,
yeah.
I think it is, and I think too, we looked at we do have for-profits, but like, our idea is to plant them and let them grow on their own.
Yeah.
I'm kind of feeling this is not quite that little nonprofit. This is probably a very large nonprofit. And, you know, we've had other ones too, I think, that just didn't apply this time around that I'd be considering the same way. You know, I know that we have the funding this year and I'm not opposed to it. I just think that at some point
Next year.
is, you know, if we had $300,000 worth of requests, is this now, you know, something that it's sustainable? They're just going to keep coming back and it's really just money going, you know, into the